Okay, everyone, I'm back. This is Diane, and I wanted to, just follow up and do another tarot card reading here. So, this one happens to be, a lot of, different cards here. We're going to kind of go through them. Like, I try to be a little more brief because I know some of my videos can go on for quite a while because I do like to chat and kind of give detailed explanations and information about everything. But in terms of this particular tarot deck, let's begin. So this is the Witch Sister Tarot deck by Julia Jeffrey. And it took me a while before I decided to purchase that one, but there was something about the illustrations and the art that just pulled at me. It resonated with me, and I decided, yep, I'm gonna get it no matter what, and I did. So this is one of those tarot decks where when you're staring at it and looking at all the different titles of the cards, it's not the same as a Rider-Waite deck where, there would be, wands, cups, swords, pentacles. It's different when it comes to the minor arcana. Even the major arcana is different, has different titles, for this particular deck. And there's a lot of decks like this where, the artist decides to go another direction. And even though the idea and framework are the same, when it comes to the tarot, they just want to give different titles to be, I guess, a little more creative, or put down names that seem to resonate with them and their beliefs and their intuition. So let's begin here. So we've got the Witch of Trees. So in this particular one, I would say this is more like, I would say the Queen of Wands. Trees seem to correspond with wands. Then our next one here is the Ace of Trees. Now remember, trees in this deck is wands, okay? And that usually means like a new job. Maybe like this queen just started their job recently. So there's that. The next one is two, and then I'm trying to read the name here. It looked like Nekivin, if I'm saying this correctly. This is a new one for me. And so the two corresponds to the second card in Major Arcana, which is the High Priestess. So this particular queen here is very much just very intuitive. They're very motherly, as shown by the third card here in the Major Arcana. They call it here the Queen of Elfame, but in the Rider-Waite deck, this would be the Empress. And then this seems like a very generous type of person. Not only, motherly, of course, but also, financially very generous, likes to help out their friends and family a lot, as given here by the Six of Stones, or what I would call the Six of Pentacles in a Rider-Waite deck. Now, the next is the Two of Skies. So, as you can see, it's kind of a crisscross pattern, and it is very, very close to what I'd say the Two of Swords would look like with the Rider-Waite deck. But, in this particular deck, of course, this corresponds with the Two of Swords in the Minor Arcana, which means they're holding in a state of tension, or they're undecided, or a lot of indecision. Or, there's something in the situation that they just don't want to see, or they're in denial about. So that's what you're looking at in terms of the Two of Swords. Then we have the Fool, which means, hey, you know what? I've been in indecision for a while, but now I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to take, just the Fool takes the risk. They made the choice. They take the risk. And then the next card we see is the Five of Skies, but skies also, again, correspond to swords. So that's the Five of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. So it looks like this risk has to do with work, because what I see here is our Five of Swords next to the Eight of Stones or Eight of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. So it means that something's going on at work where they decide to take the leap. Of course, it's a new job. They decide to take the leap, and while it's an okay leap, at the same time, it's while it's not a failure, it's a situation where they feel like either they have low self-esteem, which is, corresponding to this Five of Skies or Five of Swords, or they feel like they're being kind of a bully, to another coworker. They feel like they've won something, or they've gained maybe a promotion or something, where they got the credit, but they don't feel like they deserved it, like the other person deserved it, that type of thing. Then what's really interesting is now we have the Six of Waters. So waters in particular correspond with the cups, so, water, cups in the Rider-Waite deck. that kind of thing. So Six of Waters or Six of Cups usually has to do with the past, whether that's your childhood or just somebody you met in your past or memories from the past or memories of childhood. And then here you have the Ten of Pentacles. You also have the Spinner of Threads, or which is the number 10 card in the Major Arcana. Oh, let me jump back here. So the Ten of Stones. Stones would be pentacles in this type of deck, kind of like we went with before with the Eight of Stones. So Ten of Pentacles usually means great wealth. So something is coming to them from their past that has to do with some sort of gain in substantial wealth. And that is further underscored by a couple other cards here. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, or the Spinner of Threads, which is the 10th card in the Major Arcana. And then also we've got here the number 11 card in the Major Arcana, which is Justice, which is also the same in the Rider-Waite deck. It's also Justice in that deck as well. So interesting pairing of cards here, you know, in terms of finances. The Six of Waters or Six of Cups, the Ten of Stones or Ten of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune or Spinner of Threads, and Justice. So I would say something is coming to this person that has to do with their childhood or their past, where maybe either, you know, they're going to be given an inheritance, or just a major sum of money from somebody that they know from the past. And in that sense, I believe there's some sort of, you know, maybe will or contract involved with this, simply because you have the Justice card, which tends to go more toward the legal side of it. If it was just like, say, Six of Cups, Ten of Stones, Wheel of Fortune, I'd say maybe, hey, you know, maybe they went to the casino and gambled and won something. But in this case, since you have the Justice card right next to it, means that there's some sort of legal aspect involved with this. So I'd say, like before, I'd say either a contract or will or estate or executor is involved with this type of financial situation. Then we have the Nine of Trees or Nine of Wands and the Three of Cups, which means that this person finds out that, you know, they have this large sum of money coming to them, and I think that they're worried somehow that, you know, people around them are going to ask for money from them, because the Nine of Trees corresponds, of course, to the Nine of Wands in the Rider-Waite deck. So you can see this person's like holding up their hands. They're being on reserve, very standoffish. They're kind of on the defense, setting a boundary, worried. But I'd say like just mostly on the defensive or on the watch in case, like, say, one of their friends, maybe who's borrowed from them before, finds out about their new, better financial situation. So that's kind of what you're looking at with this deck. You know, it starts off, you know, more mildly, I think, with, you know, this person getting a new job and dealing with it there, you know, some insecure feelings around a situation at work. And then finally something happens with the past, their childhood, or somebody that they know from the past, and a financial situation that comes through for them to help improve their situation. So that's what we're looking at in terms of this deck of cards. Again, to recap, this was the Witch Sister Tarot. Beautiful illustrations. I'd say much more of a feminist type of tarot card deck. As I said, just gorgeous illustrations and art, beautifully done. I certainly suggest if you ever want to get it, you won't regret it. And just know that you'll be converting like the stones to pentacles, or the trees to the suit of wands, you know, so just make sure to, you know, keep that in mind. You know, you'll be looking at different suits or different suit names type thing. Anyway, everybody, you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you're all doing well. Take care, and thanks a lot.